Hi everyone, if you're just joining us, welcome to the TCC 2020 Enterprise Track Briefing. We have earlier concluded the session with Lumen's Auto, and we'll be starting with the last briefing session of the day with Tristar Group. I am Candice from Enterprise Singapore, part of the TCC 2020 co-organizing team, and I will help facilitate this session. So Tristar Group has sponsored one enterprise level challenge statement this year. Tristar is a fully integrated logistics solutions provider that owns ocean-going vessels such as tankers, gas carriers, as well as dry bulk carriers. So to recap some administrative pointers, each challenge sponsor will have 15 minutes to share about the challenge statement, the motivations, technicalities, as well as desired outcomes. These will be followed by a Q&A session of up to 15 minutes. So we'd like to encourage everyone to type your questions in the Q&A tab below and clarify any queries that you may have on the challenge statement. Shalish from Tristar will be covering the challenge statement on seeking Internet of Things technology for predictive maintenance of ship machinery. So over to you, Shailesh.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shailesh Bildikar. I'm the Commercial Director for the Tristar Maritime Logistics. And we are here with a lot of expectations from the Trade and Connectivity Challenge. I would like to put up a presentation to start off with and then run through it, explaining what we are expecting out of this challenge. Yeah, so Tristar Group is a fully integrated energy solution provider, and it has been it was set up in 1998 with the by the founder of the Tristar Group, Mr. Eugene Main, and it was started off. The business was started off with 3 trucks as a road transport division, and that's why the name came from Tristar. And this has been a journey of Tristar and the various milestones it has achieved over the last 20 years of growth, starting off as a road transport division to moving into various different business verticals to where it is today. As of today, we are a proud owner of a shipping division which has some ships. We've got GCC fuel farm storage. We have a contract with various contract with an oil majors. And that's the summary of it. These are the key verticals, business verticals of Tristar Group, the Tristar Integrated Solution Provider. Road transport, then we have maritime logistics, which is actually chartering of vessels and ship owning as well. And the predominant customers are mostly oil and gas companies. And then we have a fuel farm in Guam, which is used for the chemical storage as well as for the in the Pacific. We also have a remote fuel division and the commercial fuel division. Today, Tristar is present in about 21 countries and has got a diversified operations. That's the map where Tristar is present. And the business is built around solid principles. We've got a long list of customer loyalty, predominantly on oil majors. And the business is committed towards innovation through embracing disruptive technologies and automation strategy. As we said, we've got today presence in 21 countries in 3 continents. We employ more than 2,000 people. We operate 62 fuel farms and own more than 33 vessels. The last part, this is where last year's performance has been a revenue of more than $500 million and an EBITDA of about 103. If we see the growth that we have as Tristar has achieved in last 3 years is about the CAGR is about 23%. And most of the contracts that we have with our customers are a long-term contract. So we've got an average contract length is about 5 years. This has been a journey of Tristar Maritime Logistics, which was initiated in 2004. And over the period, it started off servicing the oil customers, as the oil companies, as a logistics solutions, and that transferred into having your own ships, and then it got diversified into acquiring another shipping company, e-ships. Then it moved on further to starting chartering of the dry bulk vessels, and that's been a growth story. So as of today on Tristar Maritime Logistics, we got about 31 plus owned vessels, and that's the breakup of the ships. And what we are here today, or the TCC challenge, is to find a solution, a kind of a platform which is related to for servicing this particular segment. So the objectives, what we are looking forward from the TCC challenge, is to develop an Internet of Things platform to extract vessels' equipment data ashore and monitor the performance and diagnostics of the machinery problems. That means we should be able to run across data analytics and predict machinery failure due to the lack of, say, compliance or lack of following the certain parameters. It's an early signals, what we call it as. We should be also able to measure the carbon footprint basis the vessel speed and consumptions. That platform should also be able to continuously monitor the fuel consumptions and say give an indication towards weather routing as well from the platform. We are also looking at automatic vessel routing, which can guide the master on board the ships so that he can have the best route and have maximum fuel consumption in the en route. We should be able to have generate a database of all the crew which are on board the vessels and monitor their onboard as well as onshore training of the crew and work across that. Some kind of guidance through uploading a video where the manufacturer can say guide the vessel directly without sending a person on board. I mean, where we actually send a technician on board who can inspect the machinery and then repair it. Here, by just looking at it through a video channel, a video stream, he should be able to guide the vessel's crew to rectify the fault. And that's the expectations out of this IoT platform. So what we have done is we have tried to say summarize our expectations about and create a kind of visual approach how we foresee this product will outcome. So in terms of incident analysis, or trending of analysis of inspection and audits, we expect that once the data is captured and say analyzed, we should be able to see dashboards of this. This is just a sample of the dashboards where we should be able to set up the KPIs and see how the KPIs are moving as the data keeps on coming automatically into the platform. As I said, the key thing on this Internet of Things platform is not to have a manual intervention or a manual data entry into the system. The data should be like pulled out of the vessels and should be able to generate this kind of say analysis so that there is no human intervention in this particular data analysis. Otherwise, there is a chance of errors and chances of mistakes happening if the humans are going to enter the data in this particular structure. Humans can validate the data, but the data should be pulled automatically. Same thing on the machinery, say monitoring, we call it. So we should be able to have a main engine stoppage trend vessel-wise, and this is just a dashboard which we expect a similar kind of a dashboard where we should be able to monitor the say off-hire trends, if there is any off-hire, or if there is any machinery stoppage in between, the reason of the stoppage. All that has to form up in a kind of a data analytic dashboard is what we expect from this platform. So with regard to the onboard crew, as we said, we should be able to, the most of the ship's crew are a part of our pool, and they go on assignments on board the ships. When they sign off, they go on leave. So this is a dashboard which actually gives a representation about the stagger of your crew, which ships they are last worked, which ships they are currently working, what is the tenure of their duty, what is the nationality, what are the experiences. So we expect those kind of dashboards to be generated out of the platform, and the data can be procured from the ships and kept a log of it. Then when we talk about the critical spares on board, or the, as we call it, the operating budget. There should be the data should be we should be able to capture the data and run out these kind of dashboards to have the budget analytics as well as the critical spares tracking, because all those things will eventually help us to operate and manage the vessels more effectively. And that is what we expect out of this Internet of Things platform. It also, the platform should also be able to, we should be capable of doing such kind of an audits, and particularly a vessel is, say, approaching Singapore, and there are data sources available on board by which we can procure how the exact maneuvering was done, how was the rudder movement, how did the master give instructions for the vessel to proceed, what kind of routing was followed. And this is just a sample out of it. And we should be, if the data is automatically pulled from the vessel, then we should be able to see these kind of dashboards to understand if there was any lack of bridge team management, or if the master made any mistake in case of an incident. And that's what we expect out of this particular platform to deliver. This is just a small representation of our expectations, and I look forward to hear questions, if there are any, from the participants.
Okay, thank you very much, Shailesh, from your presentation. So we actually have questions already for you. So maybe let me start with the first question. I think they would like to know whether, if I may, whether there are any existing data sources. For example, do you have a web portal documentation, so for the data to be aggregated automatically?
Can you please repeat the question?
Sure. The question is whether there are existing web portals documentation where the information can be aggregated. So how can the data be aggregated automatically?
Oh, yes. So at the moment, the data is generated on board in electronic format, and there is an onboard storage of data. Now, this data, the vessels are fitted with a VSAT, which is a satellite system by which we can pull the data into the cloud. Yes, there has to be an interfaces in between by which has to be installed on board, by which we can pull the data into the cloud. And then once it's in the cloud, it's about having the various dashboards to analyze the data. Now, there could be a case that not all the data, the data sensors can be limited, and we need to install some additional sensors for generating a particular trend or a particular analysis. And that is something where we need that guidance from the startup ones. And it's a module where we work together with the entity, and as and when there are new solutions or a new kind of an updates coming in, we would we would go ahead and install additional sensors on board. Like particularly if we work out a particular module, or that this is what we want to analyze, for which we need these data points, and okay, out of these data points we've got few of them already on board, few of them are missing, then we would go ahead and install those data points so that we can generate that data and then start analyzing out of it. So that's the process.
Thank you very much, Shailesh. I think we have a few more questions. In terms of the collection of images of damages, do you presently have a collection, perhaps in digital format already?
Is there any collection of images of the damages to the vessel? Yeah, I mean, collection of images of the damages to the vessel, when there is an incident, the incident report have the images included in the report. But at the moment, we are not, I think probably the participant has misunderstood that it is not related to this IoT platform is not, has got direct correlation with the damages. Damages is just one of the things which, in case of an incident, we should be able to analyze the root cause analysis and why this thing happened based on the data. But ask, is there any collection of images of the damages to the vessel? It's the part of the incident report.
Okay, so in terms of existing accidents, you don't have it's part of the incident report. Are there pictures in the incident report present?
Yes, yes. I mean, that's the data that we put in. We can always ask the master to take pictures and send us a report, and he can put it at, so that those can be included as we go ahead. If we have to analyze, but for example, if there is an incident which results to the damage to the vessel, then I showed you on the one of the slides where we should be able to track the routing of the vessel and analyze the incidents of the shipboard crew, that where they went wrong. Why did the incident happen first? I mean, that's what we are trying to do, a predictive analysis based on the data.
Okay, thank you very much, Alex. I think on your point in terms of the predictive data sensing, we have a question from a participant which states that what you're looking for is very, very comprehensive ship management solution. So just wondering whether there are any off-the-shelf solutions from the market. That's part one. And also whether are you looking at a single provider, or would you consider doing part of the project with a single provider, for example, predictive maintenance for specific machinery?
Yeah, so as I see these questions, and I would like to answer that there are some of the off-the-shelf products available for a certain amount of data, but we are looking at a comprehensive integrated solution which takes care of all. Like, for example, is there an independent weather routing service provider available? Yes, that's a ready-made service provider available, but they only provide the weather routing. They don't do anything beyond that. Whereas what we are looking at, the weather routing as a data input, and then the master's actions, what we saw on the voyage, the one of the slides, and then correlate with them to determine what was the cause of the incident, or was the weather, say, overruling master's actions and master could not do anything about it, or vice versa. So we are taking all these inputs into consideration to determine the predictive data analytics. There are individual products available for one particular, let's say for a machinery, one particular machinery has got, okay, we can give you the data of that machinery, but it has to be correlated with the entire operation on board. And that means it's not that machinery's data is alone, standalone data is not useful, but an integrated approach, if we have, we can be much more constructive, and we can have a better analytics out of it.
Okay, thank you very much, Shailesh. I think what I'm hearing from you is that what you guys are looking for is a comprehensive solution that covers all aspects, even though there are existing solutions. What you prefer is something that can look at every single aspect, so to make it more comprehensive and integrated. Would that be accurate?
I think yes, it's a wide thing, but as we said, we are looking for a partner who understands this our requirement and works along with us. Now, in this, when we are building up an integrated solution, there would be cases where you would take data, like for example, weather routing. Now, weather routing, there is an independent service provider for weather routing, and we can plug in that data subscription into this the platform that we create. But I'm giving an example how because to answer the question, are you looking at a single provider? We are looking at a provider who can provide us, or who can help us create this platform. Once the platform is ready, the different plug-in data can be done by a subscription module as well, like weather routing, or maybe any other port requirements, information to be put in that can come from the agencies. So all those data can be plugged in on a subscription basis. So that's fine, but we're looking at someone who can help us create a platform.
Okay, so I think that was quite helpful to the participants. Next question we'll have is, what requirements do you need from SIRE and port state control inspections? So
the SIRE as well as PSC inspections are regular, say, audits which are done on board the vessel, and the reports are given in a form of say observations, right? So what we are looking at is, because we've got 30 odd plus ships, we are looking at consolidating that data and trying to determine an analytics out of it. For example, if the SIRE or the PSC inspections have got different modules, like navigation module, engineering module, like this kind of different module. If we analyze the data of SIRE observations of 30 vessels, and if we find that there is more number of observations popping out of a navigation module, then we need to look at what procedures we have in navigation. Are we doing something wrong there? And try and improve that, so that we don't get any more observations on the navigation module. So that is where we look at data analytics. So when we say what requirement do you need for SIRE and PSC, we want to collate the data from SIRE and PSC and able to analyze the trend of why these observations are coming, and take corrective actions based on that to go to the next level.
Okay, thank you, Shailesh. The next question would be on the connectivity of the vessel to cloud is through the satellite, which I think you have mentioned earlier that it is through the satellite, but whether there's any bandwidth limitations?
Well, there would be, but I am also being told that there are various compressed technologies available where this data can be compressed and uploaded into the cloud. Now, that is again the domain expertise, which I expect the IoT service provider or our partner who is going to help us build this platform to guide us how best we can, looking at our existing network connection, optimize on it and able to extract data out of it.
Okay, that's useful. We also have one more question about whether there are any data sources, for example, the crew manifest, that would have to be digitalized first before putting it into the system to be developed.
So it's the same thing as I said earlier. So at the moment, our crewing companies and our say individual we have a standalone softwares which are only where the data of the crew is already digitized. Now we are trying to integrate it, so we can again take a subscription or a plugin to that particular data, and if we can, once we get the data feed, how do we incorporate into our system is what we expect the platform to do. It should be a one. I mean, IoT platform should offer us like a dashboards, various types of dashboards. And the data for those dashboards can be coming from the ships. It can be coming from the crewing, particularly I'm talking about this crewing agency and the training which we mentioned. So that data can come from the different feed. All the data does not have to come from the ship alone. It can come from different feeds. Like the weather routing data can be come from the meteorological society into the feed. So that's how we look at it.
Okay. We have one more question. Are we looking to break down the project by phases to achieve the final solution?
Yes, at this phase, it will be in phases. And what we are looking at is the initial proposition from our participant. And then we will, once we have shortlisted ones, and we start working along with them. And then we break down into phases. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I think I also have a question of my own, if you don't mind answering it.
Yes.
In terms, I know that for many ports, they do require port clearance forms as well. And some of the ports, they don't use digitized version, it's still manual. So is that an aspect that you would like to address as well?
No, because as those port clearances and a digitized version, that's the pure documentation. But there is something like we have a port report which a master would put up, and most of the data that we want to capture from that port can be entered into that report by the master, and that can be extracted and again analyzed into the feed. So I don't expect that the actual papers, which the custom clearances and other documents which are not digitized, we don't expect the IoT platform to say work on that particular segment.
Okay, sure, that's helpful. Thank you so much. Okay, we have one more question. In terms of, that's how you mentioned it will be in phases, but in terms of the time frame, how is that going to look like in terms of the work on the platform?
So as we had said in the problem statement, we are expecting that the full project to be ready, all modules within a year's time. And but as we stated that once we identify the right partner to work with, we will work in phases. So it depends upon how the module or how the capacity, the current capacity is. I mean, once we have the participant actually giving us a solution, we would be able to evaluate the capacity of the participant to what stage he is into this developing the product, and then moving on to the next level. So I look forward. Yeah, but in this thing, we're looking at about 1 year to go full product to be ready. But I think once we identify the partner, then we would work with them in phase 1, phase 2, in like phases.
Okay, I think that's very helpful in terms of your clarifications. Can we check if there's any more questions at this point in time? Just again, a gentle reminder to all participants, if you have any queries, please put it in the Q&A tab below in the Zoom app. Thank you. Let's just give it a little while, see if there are any more questions. Okay, it looks like there are no more further questions from now. I think you really did give quite a comprehensive presentation, as well as you answered quite a wide variety of questions. One more. What is your budget for this project?
So it depends. As at the moment, I mean, that's our, as I said, the budget at the moment depends upon the partner when he puts up the solution. We want to achieve this objective. At the same time, we are cognizant of the fact that there are these off-the-shelf individual units available. So as far as the budget, as well as the participant is competitive and able to customize it, we would be at par with the market.
Okay, that's good to know. One more question. Is there a site survey? Would you be able to let them see the vessel as well as your present systems?
Yeah, in Singapore, yes. I mean,
thinking to like the current climate as well. So I guess we need to be aware of that as well, restrictions on that part, of course.
Yes, that's correct. I mean, those are the challenges. But I think if all the participants are in Singapore, there would be more opportunities, because Singapore being a shipping hub, there would be always at any, I think in a month, I will always have 1 or 2 ships coming to Singapore.
So that's something that can be arranged, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, that's good to know. Okay, do we have any further questions? Okay, it looks like we do not have any further questions for now. Let's not jinx it. Okay, let's give it a few more seconds. Okay, I guess we can safely conclude now that we do not have any further questions for now. And to the participants, if you have any further questions for Tristar or Shailesh to answer, please direct it to tcc2020@enterprisesg.gov.sg, and we will forward them to Shailesh as well as Tristar. We also look forward to receiving all your proposals by 15 September 2020. So Shailesh, would you have any concluding statements that you would like to share with the participants of your briefing? Perhaps anything, any point that you would like to emphasize on your challenge statement? Thank you.
I would say that as we are always committed to innovation and disruptive technologies, this is a great opportunity to tie up with a group like Tristar, Maritime Logistics, which is an integrated logistics company. And if we are successful in the shipping side, we would move into the other business verticals as well. Okay,
we have heard from Shailesh. I think it's interesting to note that this, in terms of the proposal you're looking to adapt possibly in the future, if it's something that can be adaptable and customizable for the other aspects like aviation, etc. So this will conclude our session for today. Thank you so much, Shailesh, and all the participants. Please join us tomorrow if you'll be keen to find out more on challenge statements from Sumitomo as well as No Sultan Nazarbayev Group Foundation. Thank you and goodbye, everyone. Thank you, Shailesh, again.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.